on the air. Calling in order the Pike Council meeting of June 17, 2026. Would you please call the roll?
Mr. Schmidt?
Here.
Ms. Swartz? Here. Mr. Modi?
Here.
Ms. Kodik? Mr. LeMay?
Here.
Mr. Gentili?
Here.
Colonel Rice?
Here.
Thank you. I want to welcome everyone here this evening. I want to extend initially thank you to Tara Carlson, our administrative assistant in the building department, who also takes care of our APR. Sheila is on vacation, and Tara was kind enough to fill in for the clerk council role tonight. So thank you for taking the time to be here, Tara. Appreciate it. Our first agenda item would be to say the Pledge of Allegiance. Please join me. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our first item then is to request, are there any audience comments from anyone?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Please say your name for the record.
My name is Bruce Rinker, 30949 Pine Street. I know it's not on the agenda tonight, but noted that council has been considering an ordinance 2026-06. And I'd like to speak to it because it seems to be causing some concern within council. It's just the direction, and I just want to offer a perspective. Our three branches of government are separated in order to exercise distinct powers: executive, legislative, and judicial. It's basically grade school civics. Ordinance 2026-06 touches upon two of those powers, executive and legislative. The Ohio Supreme Court has succinctly distinguished these two powers, holding that the job of the legislature is to enact laws, while the job of the executive is to administer those laws. The objective of Ordinance 260606, I believe, is to reconcile Upper Pike's administrative review process for area variances with the above rationale of the Ohio Supreme Court. In other words, what's enacted, what's administered. An area variance involves a private property owner's request for relief from the strict application of zoning regulations to the property. Because an area variance only calls for reasonable application by city officials of existing zoning laws, there is no legislative function. The decision to be rendered upon the property is purely an administrative one. Exercising this decision-making process fundamentally is the responsibility of the city's executive branch. Consider that council previously exercised its legislative power by enacting the zoning code and presumably incorporating safeguards that would be important to this administrative process. So apart from amendment, the job of council really has been accomplished. In fact, my understanding is that Ordinance 2026-06 does amend the code by adding new safeguards of written conclusions of fact. A notable counterweight to this process is the inclusion of a council member to serve as a voting member of the Planning Commission. And that member would apply the same set of standards that the other Planning Commission members are called upon by council to apply in the administrative process. Council's legislative directive that administrative officials and property owner must follow has been incorporated into the code. The zoning code expressly anticipates various requests. Its detailed standards authorize some amount of adjustment to the regulations depending on the facts of each case. It really is akin to asking a tailor to take in a suit when you get it off the rack. Under the separation of powers then, council should not logically have the additional power of appellate review over the final decision of an executive branch body. Ohio statutes direct appellate review of the administrative decisions made by political subdivisions to be conducted by the Court of Common Pleas. It's Chapter 2506. The sole exception to this is provided by the constitutional grant of home rule to chartered municipalities. But while the Constitution affords municipalities the opportunity to adopt home rule powers, which allow for greater discretion, such discretion is not foolproof. Just because you have the right doesn't mean you always get it right. Ohio statutes provide for all township and non-chartered municipality zoning decisions to be appealed to the courts of common pleas. They represent the distinct majority. So while some charters do allow for council review, when you look across the state of Ohio, those provisions are in the minority, not the majority. Some do, most do not. Our statutes align with the Ohio Supreme Court's analysis of that functional separation between administrative and legislative function. So I support by council its exclusion from the review of planning commission is incorporated into proposed ordinance 202606. And I have copies of this all provided to the clerk. Thank you.
We'll include your comments in the record if you want. For anyone in our audience who's unfamiliar, our speaker was former Mayor Bruce Rinker and former Councilman Bruce Rinker of Mayfield Village, and always an honor to have you come to our chambers. Thank you, Mayor. Anyone else? Not hearing anything, we will move on to reports from any committees and department heads. Since we were last together, were there committees that have met? Mr. Lamar?
Yeah, we had our first ever City Teachers Committee meeting. Really more of an introduction, getting all the resident members to know each other, establish our goals, our purpose, and really set forth what we want to do in the next meeting, which is scheduled tomorrow, by the way. And so we are going to start with the county survey results from a few years ago. Let's see what's on there that might be missing from existing agendas, existing committees, as the first data point.
Thank you. Any other committees?
We were, just for clarity, we were supposed to meet as a comms committee on Monday, and everyone seemed to have a conflict, so it did not happen, and it will be happening, and then I will have an update.
That is lovely. Any department heads? Chief?
So there will be a company operating soon out of Beechwood that'll cover this area as well, called Zipline, and they'll be making deliveries for the Cleveland Clinic. And if you get a chance to look at the product, it's a large drone, flies about 300 feet above, and drops a zip line with a large canister on it. It's also automated, and people can pick it up right from their doorstep, and it takes back off the docking station right over at Science Park. So Beechwood's already agreed to it. It's big in Texas. It'll be the first setup in this area.
What do they deliver?
Medications right now.
Prescriptions for?
Yes. Yes, but it's not exclusive, so other companies can hire them as well. I think they do fast food as well in Texas.
Thank you, Chief. I have actually reached out to Ahuja Hospital and asked, not Ahuja, pardon me, Hillcrest Hospital, and made an inquiry about this, particularly as to any noise would be associated with these drones flying, and basically received the information they were operating under, which was because of the height that the drones operate, it should not be audible to people on the ground. And I guess we will see what the test of that is.
Do we have the ability to regulate it if we chose to?
I actually don't know that.
That's a difficult question.
So,
There's an argument that the FAA preempts because they're flying in the airspace
Correct.
that is governed by the FAA.
And the FAA generally, as long as you have the proper drone licenses, the FAA, and the crux of that, chief, is that the FAA says we set policy and we're not in the policy enforcement business for drones. That's up to local law enforcement. So that's typically what we've dealt with.
The delivery aspect of it is where we might have a tag, but I wouldn't want to stop somebody from getting their medication without determining first there's a problem.
I would think it'll be in the noise category. And what those companies are saying is it's no different than not the Amazon electric trucks, but the FedEx or the UPS panel trucks that come and circle your neighborhood 3 times a day. So I think noise, clearly we don't have any legal room with the airspace. And you're correct, that's all the FAA, but the FAA again has really punted to law enforcement to enforce those within their jurisdiction.
Can we at least just in the next cover Pike post, at least make people aware? Like, I wouldn't want people to like see drones starting to be in the air
I think that's a great
and
suggestion.
then wonder what it is.
Great suggestion.
Unlike the traditional drone noise, they modified these where it sounds more like a box fan.
Yeah, these are gonna be
It's a different frequency.
they're electric motors, so they're
It's
gonna
not
be.
that loud.
More just if you see a drone going 2 doors down to your neighbor's house, you're gonna naturally be like, what's going on over there? So just like giving people a heads up that they might see these, I think it's more the visibility versus the
Just the
noise.
fact these are gonna be operating within the city boundaries is probably a good call.
It should be in the next 2 months.
And there's also some privacy concerns, I would think, depending on where and how they fly. I assume they have a camera that's looking down all the time, right, to see where.
They have to be able to tell where they're
Right.
delivering.
Right, to drop it, they're gonna have eyes on it.
So, and if you're in the flight path, I don't know.
So the privacy concerns would be if they were intelligence and collecting intelligence on citizens, that's against the law, but for the purposes of navigating the drone, they're good to go.
It's all computer programmed.
Yeah, it's all, and they probably don't have a camera. If they do have a camera, they'll just have a sensor that will be showing them where to go, and there's not an operator sitting there watching the
They have an air
screen.
traffic controller. And
Yeah.
that's it.
Chief, so I'm sorry, you said Beechwood has it, and what's the deal with the sites now?
It's designed to cover, a 5-mile radius from Beechwood, basically.
Oh,
Because they're launching from
Yeah, it's a charging
the Clinic Beechwood facility.
Right, there's like nests and they land on them with charge and take back off.
I'm skeptical how these things don't get tangled in a tree.
There are I think there are 2 or,
But they have to lower, you said that they lower stuff down.
right.
Once they're on target, but that pod also has navigational capabilities when it's
Well,
coming down.
I'll have to see this to believe it.
Yeah.
I just,
Look up Texas, I guess
yeah,
it's pretty
well,
successful.
they don't have as many
successful.
trees as we do.
But your point is well taken, because Waymo's had some issues with self-driving cars. And there's gonna be some hiccups but
Yeah.
these things are pretty impressive.
Allegedly, no major incidents yet.
Well, this is only the leading edge. You
Yeah.
see Amazon making its deliveries this way too,
Absolutely.
at some point in the future, so.
What's the payload limit on it? It's probably like 5 pounds or something. So they're probably very, very small.
Yeah.
Quadcopter.
The demonstration I saw was mostly small meals,
Yeah.
medications,
It
things like
says,
that.
medicine, food delivery and groceries.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Chief.
And they're gonna start running into each other.
Um, Their page on privacy though does 404 out, so I'm gonna look into that.
Want to welcome Mr. Nanavich, Service Director Nanavich, to our meeting tonight. And welcome.
Thank you.
See you at many more meetings.
I hope so.
Anything going on in the service department you need to report on or not?
Big news right now, it's been a good week and a half so far. I have my emails up and going finally. One thing is I do not have voicemail yet. IT is working on that. So if someone calls my line direct, I can't get the voicemail right now, but hopefully by the end of the week it'll be taken care of.
So is your email address service director? Did you take
Yes.
that over your name?
Yes, no, service director,
Okay.
like that, or,
Gotcha.
yeah, kept that the same, so
All
it's the transition.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. And we'll move on to, we have a rather short agenda. The first is resolution number 2026-20, long awaited, finally here. It's a resolution declaring the necessity of the Belgrave Road sewer project, sanitary sewer project. Steve, why don't you take us through this?
This is very much the same type of resolution that the council has passed before for prior sewer projects. Only the names and permanent parcel numbers have changed, and the date and the ordinance number. The idea is that Don has prepared plans and specifications that are on file with the clerk of council. You are approving that and declaring it necessary to make the improvement. The next step is to give notice to the people whose properties are going to be improved and who will ultimately pay the assessments for that improvement. There is a process, and we have a thrice chairman of Vice. Maybe I'm planning ahead, I don't know. But there is a process whereby the Assessment Equalization Board is appointed and convened. And that will occur between now and the time that these folks would have the opportunity to be heard regarding the assessment. There's a very limited basis upon which they could raise objections to the assessment, one of which is that their property isn't being improved by the amount of the assessment, or their property is not of a sufficient value such that the cost exceeds the value of the property. Don has gone through and identified only those properties that have houses on them that would be improved by the sewer. And so the list is that the description of the project, and which is further specified in the plans and specifications, have eliminated that risk. But if somebody gets notice and their property isn't being improved, they have the opportunity to be heard on that issue by the equalization board. We then build the project, and once it's built, the final costs of the project are levied against the property owners. And we'll have a full value at the end of the project, but the initial estimate cannot go up by more than 10%, or we'd have to revisit the issue. We have gone through that process of rejiggering the amounts of the assessments in other cases, but you have to start somewhere, and this is the first step in that process.
Do we have the assessment estimate yet per parcel?
It's not in the resolution.
It's not in the resolution, but I do believe when we have it, the estimated costs of the improvement are on file with the clerk. So,
Just curious where it came out.
It was in the $20,000 range plus
That's
or
what,
minus.
yeah, about 20, low 20s or?
Yeah, I believe it was a little bit. Peter, do you recall what the estimated assessment was going to be? You may not, but it's good to have the spot.
Like for each house?
Yeah.
No.
Does it exist somewhere? Spreadsheet like
yes.
Yeah.
And you'll note that it's spread out over a 20-year period, and they will bear the cost minus 2%, which the city will bear, plus the cost of intersections. And then this will get spread over the benefited parties.
And of course, as with all assessments, if the current property owner were to transfer title to someone else, the new owner would assume the responsibility for the assessment.
So it wouldn't be a lien,
The
it's
current
not a
owner
lien
may
and
not
sale, it
pay
goes
full
with the
value.
sale.
Comes with the sale.
Unless they negotiate that. I mean, that's something that could be negotiated between the parties. We don't get involved with it.
It runs with the land.
And homeowners have the option to pay.
They always have the option, yes. We've actually had a couple, very few, but a few people that decided they'd rather just pay it off.
Can you help me understand the 2% standard?
Yes, that's in the state statute. And the idea is that there is a public benefit that taxpayers bear, not the assessed parties. And that's just set by state law.
The 2% is the
2% plus the cost of the intersections where you don't have a budding property owner. So whatever that distance is excluded from the calculation of the assessment. And the city will pay that cost.
And of course, because of the prior negotiations we engaged in with the regional sewer district, we provides a grant which reduces the cost to the residents by about 1/2 of what their assessment would be because of the reduction of support of the overall cost of the project. In addition to that, we've negotiated the ability for once the resident has tied into the new sanitary line upon evidence that they've incurred the cost of doing that, the city can provide them reimbursement of up to $5,000 for that connection to help lower the cost to the resident.
How come the costs are not part of the ordinance?
Because the people who draft the ordinance have the form that they use and they incorporate the other item because they don't want to risk an error. This is a format that they use. They limit the variables on the format to the location and the project that's being involved, and then they incorporate the
So the variables that might change per project are deliberately left off. of the form.
Exactly right. For example, there was, at the time of one of the previous assessments, there was a property that was improperly assessed. And by leaving it out of the resolution of necessity, the assessment board was able to adjust the covered area.
And who is this assessment for?
It's appointed before the hearing.
If someone objects to the project, then we establish the,
Paperwork.
Yeah.
Well, but you don't need to put a board together.
if no one objects, we're not going to do it.
So why does the city cover the cost of the intersection and not the sewer district? We're not the owning utility.
The statute requires it. So the idea is that the real estate of the roadway is owned by the city.
Except we don't own the utility underneath it. In
No.
any case,
Correct.
whether it's power, water,
Well-
sewer, the only one we really own is stormwater.
Right. And all I can tell you is that that's what state law tells us. So if you want to change it, you need to petition the legislature.
So the 20K ballpark per resident, that's after the grant,
Yes,
so it'd be roughly 40K without grant.
somewhere up in that area, yes.
The grant is for anything with Pike in the next year. I'm just curious.
No, grant is specific to this project.
Just the Belgrade.
This project, every year, we evaluate our septic tank effluents, and a judgment is made of sort of a menu of different items, but one would be the level of polluting that's occurring from a certain branch of septic systems. Also, is there something that makes some economic sense for it to tie into, either establish a new trunk line or to tie in like we did with Shaker Phase 2 with the West Colony area. It could tie into the trunk line we had previously put on Shaker Boulevard. So there's an art as to identifying the next place where these things go. And once that is identified, then our engineer prepares a grant application for the regional sewer district to consider and put into its hopper of a very competitive bidding process as to whether or not we will receive an award out of a finite fund that the sewer district is making available for that year for people to participate, is to receiving money to support. It's not all for septic sanitary conversion. This is for any project that a city has that is going to improve its sanitary sewer discharge. A lot of times. Stormwater, pardon me, stormwater. We have made it available for our septic conversion through some negotiation with the sewer district, because the sewer, this fund arose from historically, whatever it was, 10 years ago, from the settlement that the sewer district arrived at with federal EPA for discharge issues that it had into Lake Erie. And as part of that settlement agreement, I think it was $3 billion was established that for the remediation had to be set aside or made available for the settlement with the EPA. The sewer district applied to EPA and received consent that they could pull out some of the funds that were part of that settlement agreement and use it for various local stormwater issues. And since our septic tanks discharge into the waters of the United States, that became a Clean Water Act issue that the EPA agreed to, that some of these funds could be used for the conversion of Pepper Pike and other community septic systems. And that was a discussion that I advanced with the sewer district, that they should work to achieve that. And the leadership of the sewer district at the time, the current director, CEO, Kyle Dreyfus-Wells, Julius Chach, they were they agreed that that would be a good sort of use of the funds. So that's what we did.
I may be confusing a couple of things here, but isn't there a fee on our sewer bills that contributes to this as well?
It's also a source of
two different funds. We're paying a fair piece of change on our sewer bills if you look at them toward money, and we
So we're getting back some of the
as
money.
Pepper Pike, we are smart enough to always apply to try and get some of that money back, so it benefits the people of our city who are paying all this.
That's a fair point, Mr. Johnson. Right.
So if we vote against this, what in effect?
So
Notices will go out to the affected residents, and they will have the opportunity to object. They'll have the opportunity to come in and take a look at the plan's specifications, come in and object to the road run if they want to. And we would then, the next step is we would, I believe we passed a piece of legislation appointing the assessment equalization.
Have they been given a heads up this is coming? Okay, that's.
Yes, we have. Some of us have been, yeah. That's why we're here. We're on Belgrade.
Okay.
We're in the process of doing an addition to our home, and it would be beneficial for us to know the timeline as best as possible for connection purposes with the addition. So we've been trying to keep an eye on this and appreciate the fact you're doing it and that you've been successful in helping to reduce the cost for all of us in regards to this. So,
and our speaker, if anyone's unfamiliar, is Mr. Doug Solomon.
and my lovely wife, Jenny. So, thank you.
So welcome and thank you for your information regarding the street residents.
Thank you.
Anything else?
One more clarification, the assessment is for over how many years? 20 years.
So they're looking at like $1,000 a year for 20 years. Well, then the interest.
Yeah. There'll be an interest factor though, once we sell the paper. Okay,
So this is a resolution, and we need to,
You just need a motion to adopt the resolution.
I recommend, because you're under state code, I recommend that you suspend the rules on this, just as a safety.
You
I'll
can
make
make
I'll make a motion to suspend.
Okay, roll call, please.
Mr. Schmidt?
Yes.
Ms. Swords?
Yes.
Mr. Modi?
Yes.
Mr. Lemay?
Yes.
Mr. Gentili?
Yes.
Colonel Rice?
Yes.
And we look for a motion for the adoption of resolution 2026-1.
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? Not hearing any, roll call, please.
Mr. Schmidt?
Yes.
Ms. Swords?
Yes.
Mr. Modi?
Yes.
Mr. Lemay?
Yes.
Mr. Gentili?
Yes.
And Colonel Rice?
Yes.
Thank you very much, Council. Next, we move on to another great project. We're looking for a motion to award the Trillium Trail water main replacement to Fabrizi Trucking in the amount of $413,228. The bids were opened was it last Friday or the previous Friday. I spoke to Mr. Sheehy, who is out of the country right now, about this, and Fabrizi had the winning bid. I inquired of him about Fabrizi, and he says they are a very good and well-known to him paving company, and he was quite pleased that they came in with the bid, and it was pretty close to his estimate.
That's what I was gonna
It was
ask.
very close to the estimate.
And what was the range, have you sense?
I think it was about 5,000 to 10,000 more than his.
And high and low bids were much above it.
They were above that, not terribly. It was pretty competitive. They were pretty tightly packed, I believe, the bids.
That's good.
And Don's number was pretty close to where they were.
I think that, I know that Fabrizi has done other work in our city,
Yes.
and they do a good job. They've done, I think, a number of projects. And I want to just point out again, this is ultimately paid by the city Cleveland Water Department. We have to pay it, and they reimburse us, if I'm not
Yes,
mistaken.
this would be under the Cleveland Water Agreement, water main replacement program.
A dozen years ago or so.
You couldn't ask for better.
So we get a new road out of it as well.
We'll get a good chunk of it.
Yep.
Okay, would someone like to make a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? Not hearing any, roll call, please.
Mr. Schmidt?
Yes.
Ms. Swords?
Yes.
Mr. Modi?
Yeah.
Mr. Lemay?
Yes.
Mr. Gentili?
Yes.
Colonel Rice?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. That brings us to the end of our legislative actions. I have just a couple of things that I'll point out for council and the public. We've sent out the notice today of our modest July 4th celebration that I hope will be a lot of fun for members of the community. We're keeping it, we've never had any sort of July 4th event before. I don't know that we'll have one beyond the 250th anniversary of this country, but it seemed appropriate we should mark the occasion with something. So,
You don't tend to be mayor at the 300th celebration.
you never know. For a lot of reasons, I hope I am. So what we're going to do is have a community parade. I hope it will be highlighted not only by our fire engine and our police cars, but by members of the community coming out to participate and take a walk. Hopefully there'll be a lot of children with decorated bicycles in which in my mind is what July 4th parades were. I don't know if they have baseball cards to stick in their spokes anymore, but you should all listen for the tick, tick, tick of cards in the spokes. Mr. LeMay knows what I'm talking about.
Absolutely.
But we can invite anyone with a classic car, their dog, their classic dog, or if they just want to walk, or if they want to make a float. Back in my day in high school, took us one night to make a float for homecoming. And anyone,
Root beer float. That's a long time to make a float.
I like that. But anyone, organizations will be reaching out to the Boy Scouts and other outfits if anyone wants to participate. They're very welcome. And the march or the parade is going to go from out here at the head of Gates Mills Park to, we'll go up the street, up the boulevard. And we're just going to, although the second half of the multi-purpose trail is, they've been pushing to get it completed actually by July 4th. Upon some evaluation, it seemed that close to 2 miles up and 2 miles back might be pushing it a little for some kids on a bicycle, small kids on a bicycle. So we're going to bring it up to the midpoint of the multi-purpose trail at Lander, where we've become familiar with the trail is. And then the vehicles can disperse and the kids can ride back to City Hall on the Gates Mills path. And I'm inviting, we're not going to be reserving our pavilion that day, so that people at the end of the little parade, if they want to let the kids loose in the playground, bring snacks, a picnic, they can enjoy Pepper Pike Park for a little bit before they go off to their family activity. And so I hope everyone can participate and be there. The council is very welcome to take a walk in the parade, and it should be good. I expect to see, he's down here, I expect to see Mr. Bartosavich's fancy historic T-bird there. And anyone else with historic cars. So that's that. On next week's agenda, we're going to have a throwback to May 2023, and it is time to revisit the topic of a splash pad out in the park. As council may recall from the survey that was sent out associated with the walkability studies, that was a very popular item that residents pointed out that they'd like to see. It's basically the same design as, most of this council wasn't there to see it at the time. It's basically the design that we saw 5 years ago. At that time, 3 years ago, it was $102,000. The purpose of next week's meeting would be to seek council's approval to apply for a grant, not to commit to buy a splash pad necessarily, but at least to give the city the authorization to apply for the ODNR NatureWorks grant that would be available to support the effort. So whatever the number is, it's going to be. So we stand a fairly good chance, I believe, of receiving some grant money for that. And so that would be the goal.
Does that design have a coordination for the filtration of the water?
Yes. Yeah. Does all that.
Is there a reason the council has to approve the staff to go apply for a grant?
The ODNR grant requires council support. So you have to get a resolution.
Yeah, their grant making requirement is for the legislative support. I think they have been burned by applications that have come in that were not supported by the legislative branch. So they want legislation that doesn't commit you. You're not obligated, but they do want.
Well, I was looking at it the other way. I'm like, tell the staff to go find grants. Let's go. That's kind of my
for this particular grant, it requires a resolution by the city.
All right.
The city council.
The grant is due in July, so it's not a topic unfamiliar to everyone in some form or the other. So we will have it in front of council next week.
Is the design?
Say it again?
Is there already a design?
Yes, there's a rendering and a proposal, and we'll get that circulated to council.
Just curious who designed it.
The splash pad construction people, I don't know the name of the company.
It's something you just buy.
You buy, yeah, there are contractors who specialize in the erection of splash pads. This is a very modest
You really just
installation.
revisiting
I
the one
believe
that
it was
you
about
designed.
30 feet in diameter, if I recall. You recall? It was about 30 feet. It was pretty modest. And it was going to be sited at the end of the playground. And it goes flat. You take out the sprinkler heads, basically. And so we're not losing the utility of the park. People can still, it's just a hard surface, basically, in the park of this 30-foot circle. So people will still be able to use the park area. And I did an informal survey a few times in the last week, visiting young families using our park and equipment. And it was 100% that people
Why
were
not?
very excited. And one dad made what I thought was a real rookie error of asking the 4-year-old what she thought of it. And now I think every time he comes to the park, he's going to have to address why the splash pad isn't there, that she's anticipating is not supposed to be here.
Mayor, we previously talked about hiring our trail firm, what's their name?
MKSK?
NKSK to do a kind of a comprehensive review of the park and decide what other features and benefits we might want to have long term and where this would fit into the overall architecture of a a finished park. And we do have some empty land over there that could be, I don't know, a park course or whatever.
Right.
Is that any notion that we might want to have them do that as part of this?
Well, we'll miss this grant cycle again if we do that. One thing that I did have an informal conversation with Ms. Mauer from MKSK. And of a menu of things to do, she thinks a modest splash pad located here, she says, it's next to the playground. It's
No brainer.
that's where you'd put it. She doesn't want to tuck it,
So,
40 yards away from.
so Jim, so a suggestion too there, we have two venues to deal with. I agree we need to do something, right? And I call it a large scale master plan. Because we passed out at the last council meeting, the Jazz project shows all city owned land. So what do we want to do? So there's two places. I think we start with Mr. Modi and the Futures Committee. Might be a nice homework assignment for them to kind of, hey, plug and play. What do we want the city to look like in 30 years with some amenities? And then the next venue is the Road and Infrastructure Committee, because we've taken on all infrastructure, which would include all city-owned land. So if you guys want to task us to do that, either committee, I think we can.
I mean, my own personal observation is this park, there's only like 2 acres of property there. It doesn't strike me there's a whole lot that we can do. And the splash pad's a really nice, popular item that we can easily add. But beyond that, it's really a very small piece of property. Now, that's one of the reasons why I was curious about this, the GIS diagram with the city-owned property, is there are other lands. We have a piece of property, 6 acres off of San, we have 3.5 off of whatever that long cul-de-sac is, I forget the name of it.
Creekside.
Creekside. They would need a lot of work because there's old water treatment facilities there, but those to me are more attractive for doing something like what you're talking about, Jim. That's 6 acres or 3.5 acres. This is only 2 acres.
Well, I guess
It's actually less than 2 acres.
Usually I'm talking about, there's like a undeveloped trail that goes back in the corner to make that nicer so you can actually walk. It's kind of overgrown.
Well, that too is interesting to me because, one of my hobbies is bird watching, okay? And I took it, after 20 years living in the city, I took it upon myself to actually tried to bird watch that, and there was nothing there. It was like peak bird season, and it's noisy over there. You got that fire engine coming in and out, and you got the highway traffic. And so, I mean, I'm risk of offending anybody here, but I'm not impressed with it as a nature trail. It's just too noisy. If somebody has some other ideas what to do with it, I'd be open to it, but,
Well, I just want to jump in here. I think I'm a big proponent of benchmarking. Okay, and if you just take the existing park, sand splash pad, I think there are opportunities to enhance it over time. That's a loaded question and discussion that needs to be figured out, but I think it plays into Mr. Lemay's question. What does that firm recommend? What we do with the existing space, if anything? I think that's a good question to ask.
They have
Yeah,
a
Susie likes the splash pad.
Yeah,
She thought that was good.
agnostic to splash pad. So that we can put together, hey, this is what the playground's gonna look like in the next 5 years, for example. These kinds of changes you could expect.
If you look at their website, they have an impressive array of small urban parks they designed. It's very impressive about how creatively they put things in spaces that makes it all hang together and work. So they're worth a more comprehensive
I'm
conversation.
happy to bring it back to them. Things get kind of stalled a couple of years ago. Okay, so that's something you'll see next week.
Hey, one question for you and staff. Where are we on park benches? Are they in yet?
They're not in yet.
Okay. Speaking of stalled,
We're looking forward to getting them.
So right now we have, it's a good question, Carl. Right now we ordered how many?
5.
5. And 5 is basically what we're looking to put in. You know, I've had a couple of residents say, oh, we'd like to sponsor a bench. You're only 5.
so the
Maybe we'll move it up
Three-
to 6 or
3
7 at
phase
some
1
point.
and 2 and-
so 3 and
2,
2, not
yeah.
5 and 3 and 2.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah, and I suppose you can always tuck another couple in someplace.
That's a great idea, though.
It's a sense of council. Is that something you'd like to see me open up to the public, saying, first come, first serve, here's the cost of a bench? I think the benches are $1,300 a piece, somewhere around there.
Nothing says they can't sponsor ones that are already in order.
Oh, no, they pay us, that would be the cost of the
I think
sponsorship.
that's a great
How much
idea.
the bench costs us.
And then we can add more
Yeah.
people want to.
They can sponsor trees. You need a little plaque at the base of a tree. This is
Oh,
the
that's-
Tony Gentili red oak. You can have it right there.
Yeah, no, that's a great idea.
I think that one's around $1,000 red oak.
I have no idea. I haven't bought a tree for a while. They're free. Here.
All right, well, I will, we'll see about making that available to the public.
I think that's a great idea.
Okay. I think that's all. I'll catch up on anything else next week when we're together. Council, anything?
I've got a question. Do we know where, the street that wants or needs fire hydrants?
Yes.
What's going on with that?
The residents are continuing, the project is designed. It's been estimated to the residents what it is going to cost in the way of an assessment. And the residents are meeting both individually and collectively about the project. I anticipate that it will be a go, no-go probably in the next month. I anticipate it's going to be a go, but they try to move ahead together on that street. They have a long history together, and I'm not trying to. I would not want to be in a position that we're forcing their hand to do something. Although the fire chief is, he is now individually meeting with a couple to to explain the fire safety issues that are involved. Yes.
Could you clarify something for me, Rick? Was BLSP gonna charge for that meeting? I was very disappointed.
I'm sorry, say it again?
Was BLSP gonna charge for that meeting? I was very disappointed that you canceled that
Well,
meeting.
they have just so everyone knows, Mr. Gentili had asked to meet individually with Paul Deutsch of Alaska.
Because that was-
They made a proposal to us that we accepted that has a certain number of meetings involved. And that's the anticipation for the hours of what they were doing. And it wasn't simply, a councilman. We had the potential of 7 councilmen saying, oh, I didn't know we got to meet individually.
Well,
And this could, all of a sudden, you're talking 7 hours potentially a time or more or less. And we're gonna have a meeting that you're invited to.
Well, if Paul had mentioned that to me, I probably wouldn't have scheduled the meeting. I didn't know that there was.
He told me he did mention it to you.
Pardon?
He told me he mentioned it to you.
No, he didn't.
Well,
He did not.
I'm sorry for any confusion on that.
I would have not spent money on something like that.
Okay, well, I hope
He did
you'll,
not- He did not say anything about that.
anything else? Yes.
Question for service director. I see some folks on the new Z&B portion. It's officially not, we're not allowed to use it, right? Yeah.
Well, it's still under construction. The concrete ramps aren't even installed yet. Top coat is in, but same thing with phase 1, though, when the base was down, there was individuals walking next, they were excited to have it out there.
Has the contractor marked it?
It says not open, I think. There's an orange sign.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
It does indicate it's under construction.
Yes, yeah, they have marked it up for under construction, but
A large yellow piece of equipment is a real giveaway that this is still under construction.
the barricade, the walkway, they'll walk around it.
They did pour concrete today.
Did they get something? Well, they were doing,
Yeah, they did
circle
the
outside of the
circle between Lander and Gates Mills Boulevard on the south end. They poured that today.
I was just asking because I've seen people already on there.
Yeah. Yeah, the worst part last time was when they walked through the wet concrete.
Yeah.
So it's set, we didn't have it all jackhammered and redo it.
Yeah.
Just to close the loop, is that meeting for, with the last meeting scheduled for tomorrow at 9:30? Yes. How long do you anticipate that lasts?
It's more than just a catch-up.
Okay.
Then the next meeting with him will be at the plant or the road infrastructure committee. He will brief the road infrastructure committee on the 13th of July.
And of course, it's a public meeting, everyone.
Everybody's invited.
Okay. All right. If that's it,
Sorry.
yeah, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I wanted to raise an issue, maybe you've heard about it recently. I'm on Pine Tree, I know that this has been really persistent for streets around me, like I see here people on Landers, on Woodland, Shaker, Pine Brook, Edgedale. The power flickers out just enough to turn everything off, and then it typically comes right back on. But over the past 2 weeks, I mean, we counted almost close to 10.
I can address this.
Wonderful, please, the floor is yours.
I also received inquiries from residents in that area about this, so I reached out to First Energy about it, and they have begun an evaluation of all the individual homes as to what their power outage history is. Some of these, outages are obviously associated with major storms, and those are not of perhaps great interest as to why is my power out. Because there was a 50-mile-an-hour wind that went through Pike. For some of these others, where it seems less dramatic, why is the power going out? There was a crew out last week, I know, where they found some piece of equipment that had failed. I don't know what the particular failure of the equipment was, but there was something wrong up there. I don't know if their situation has improved since that happened. My contact at First Energy had to follow up with the crew and see what is it that they found. and he's still supposed to get back to me this week about that. Looking into it, I also have learned that section Moreland Hills seem to be having an issue, and it may be the same circuit that was having an issue here in Pepper Pike or not. Could be a separate circuit and totally unrelated. But we have First Energy's attention about this, and they're going to see if it's something they can solve. One thing I would point for council, the flickering phenomenon. Several years ago, council or First Energy actually adopted a preventative program where rather than wait for a major failure in the system, if something is tweaking and their system is identifying they're about to have an overload or something, they have a circuit breaker system where the breaker will flick on and off. That will drop individuals' power, but it somehow interrupts the surge that is going to blow up a transformer or something. So sometimes people are losing power momentarily, which is really annoying because all your microwaves and clocks are now having to be reset. But their goal is, as it was explained to me, is to interrupt the larger failure from occurring that may last for quite a long time. They did not know at the time I spoke to them if what they were looking at was that sort of pre-programmed flicker occurring, or if something more equipment failure was in play. They did find this one, I know they found one failed piece of equipment that was reported to me.
I mean, it happened as recent as today, like it
Oh,
happens.
it happened again today?
Oh, it happens all the
I
time.
didn't know it's.
It happens all the time. It almost weekly happens Saturday at around midnight. Like I could probably pull a log of when it at least happens at our home. So I'm wondering if they give any
Oh, well,
indication.
they
of how long.
will, I'll talk to the guy in the morning and I'll make sure he knows that they need to bring forward their evaluation. I don't know where they are in the evaluation of all the different homes.
So they didn't give
But
like a
yours is
timeline or
one too.
anything?
Over the next week or so, they
Okay.
want to do
Okay, thank you. That's really helpful. I'm glad that we've had conversations
But
about
that's
it.
about
because
all I-
it's
that's
getting to
about-
be very frequent.
it. That's a dump of about everything I know about it. Anything else? Okay. We would entertain a motion to adjourn to executive session to discuss details relative to security arrangements and an emergency response protocol. To the audience, thank you very much for being here tonight. We will not be reconvening for purposes of any public discussion. We'll just be adjourned for the meeting. So thank you for being here. If there's anyone watching online, thank you for being a part of it. And I'll entertain a motion to adjourn to executive session. So moved. Roll call, please.
Mr. Schmidt?
Yes.
Ms. Swartz?
Yes.
Mr. Bodie?
Yes.
Mr. Lemay?
Yes.
Mr. Gentili?
Yes.
Colonel Rice?
Yes.
And I want to thank stuff. I want to thank Ms. Carlson for her outstanding work this evening, filling in as acting deputy clerk. We'll call you that, acting deputy.
Figured out. Acting council.
Yep.
Acting deputy council.
Okay.
I don't know if I made up the name. I don't know if it exists.
Well, be careful, you don't want to fall into a category where you.
I don't want to pay the right.